Well, this is the BMW iX50, the technology flagship of BMW. Let's try and understand this car in detail, which according to me is probably the best electric car on sale in India right now. Now, the looks of this car have been controversial. That beaver-shaped grille has not been liked by everyone, but I can tell you this. The most innocent creatures that we have amongst us, among humans, that is, the kids, whenever a child look at this car, the face lit up with happiness and each one of them reacted in a very positive manner. It grows on you. It's not an award-winning beautiful kind of a car, but it has a character of its own, and it's testament to the fact that BMW has always been very bold with their designs, be it in the Bangle era or now somewhere in the middle also. They always decided not to conform and do their own thing. So in that sense, this car grows on you and it really masks its size. It really is an enormous car. It's the longest car in its segments. It's longer than the EQE. It's the widest, it's the tallest, it's longer, taller and wider than even the Q8 Quattro. However, the EQE has a slightly longer wheelbase than this car. Now coming towards the front, there are some interesting facts that you would probably like to know. For example, the bonnet does not open. The wiper fluid has to be put in here by pressing the BMW logo, since the bonnet cannot open. Of course, the LED lighting is top-notch, is high-tech. As I mentioned, this is the technology flagship for BMW. And something really unique about this car is this grille, which has self-healing technology. So if you have minor bruises, some scratches, you just have to let the car be for some time in a reasonably warm environment or expose it to heat, and this grille for minor scratches will heal itself. Let's try if that works. No, I'm not that crazy. What this grille also does is it hides the radar and other sensors behind the grille, and overall, while it's not conventional, it does look butch and imposing. And the flanks on the front bumper here also give it a sense of distinction. It also gets this air curtains, gets front parking sensors, a front camera which is a part of a 360-degree camera system, which in my opinion is probably one of the best out there, with one little flaw, but I'll come to that later. From the side, this car looks really long, and when you look at it in isolation, it may not look as big, but when you stand next to it, I am 5 feet 10, you realize how long and how big this car really is. And one of the parts of this car which makes you realize how big it is are these 275 section 22-inch wheels, and I really like the way those blue calipers are peeping through the wheels. I like the design of the wheels as well. The ground clearance is more than sufficient, and as you move towards the side further, you realize that the doors are frameless, making it look spectacular when the doors are open. And there are no door handles as such, there is just this cavity, and the button is concealed nicely inside. Then you have this titanium treatment on the shoulder line. The rear door also doesn't have the door frames. When you open the doors, you'll also see something really special. This material apparently is carbon fiber and should have reduced the weight by an enormous margin, but this thing still tips the scale upwards of 2 tons, almost 2.5 tons, and it's not exactly a very light car. We'll come to that in a bit. What's also very special is this sunroof, and while you won't have ventilation, with a flick of a button you can make it completely opaque or transparent. I'll show you how it works. Coming further towards the rear, you realize that you have this iX branding here and this quarter panel window here, which allows for a lot of light inside. So you feel like you are sitting in a very airy, very spacious cabin. And at the back, again, you have this very horizontal kind of a design which lends this car its width, and it looks a lot more agreeable from behind than from the front. Also on the flanks you have these diffusers. Let's also have a look at this beautiful welcome dance that this car does once you unlock it, and the lights will welcome you and make you feel special. Now the boot, of course, is with a powered tailgate, and do let me know if you observed something really special or weird, whichever way it comes across to you. Let me just shut the boot again. As you can see, the tail lights are mounted entirely on the tailgate, so When I open the boot, and if I'm parked on the side of the road, you would realize that the hazards also will go up with the tail light. So to make up for that, there are additional tail lights here on the boot area. Was this really required? I'm not very sure, but this is something which is very different and had to be mentioned. Now the boot itself is not the biggest in its class. Despite this car being the biggest, the boot area here is 500 liters, and that too is compromised by the space saver spare. As you can see, we have some bags and some other stuff strewn here, and this would give you an idea as to how much stuff you can put in here. Now according to me, this space is sufficient for a family of 4 for going to a small or medium-ish holiday, but you really cannot load it up with really big suitcases. And if you want to do that, you'll really have to remove this space saver spare. There is some more space underneath the boot as well. Now if that was some sort of a redemption, there is some space to spare underneath the boot floor as well, and you might probably be able to store a couple of haversacks in here. You also have this 12-volt power socket here. Of course, there is illumination on both the sides. It also comes with a parcel tray shelf. Now if you wanted to extend the boot area and wanted to fold down the second row of seats flat, you have these two buttons here, and you can fold the seats down 60-40. The good thing is that they fold down flat and extend the storage area by an enormous margin. Now this here is the key of the car, and while this does look premium, I think it could have done with a little bit more weight. For such a premium car, I would have wanted to have a key which was a little bit more, how do I put it, metallic. And before I get inside the car, let me show you the welcome dance of the headlights when you unlock it from the front as well. The DRLs light up gently and they throb a little so that they can make you feel a little bit special. All right then, time to get inside the car and open the door. Now, once you open that wide door, you'd realize that this interior is quite unlike anything else that you have ever seen before. It's very spacious, very high quality, and gives you a very distinctive feeling. Now, even when you get inside, while the seat height is slightly higher than ideal, the cavity to get inside is really wide and open, and you can really get inside with a lot of ease and appreciate the quality that abounds on the door panel here. So all of this material here is genuine leather. Even the lower part of the door panel is soft to touch, although the inside is hard. Now a very interesting thing about this car's door panel is that you don't have any door pulls. Can you see any door pulls which you have in other cars? No, you don't have any door pulls which you use to open or lock or unlock the cars. So you have this button here and you shut the door and you press this button itself to unlock the door as well, and this button is present on all 4 doors. But what happens if the electrical system does not work? Will you be stuck inside? No. For that you have this fail-safe here, and this is like your normal door pull, and in case the electrical system fails, you have this fail-safe as well. Another great thing is that you have the seat controls in crystal which look absolutely stunning, and this button here allows you to control the seat in a lot of ways, which I'm going to let you know how. This part here is very high quality headliner mesh, and the Harman Kardon system here also is fantastic sounding. One of the best systems, although not the best. There is space for a 1-liter water bottle and a boot release button, along with a lot of space to spare here as well. Now all of that is fantastic, but as I can see, you have controls for seat adjustment, but I don't see any lumbar support. For a 1.5 crore rupee car, I think that's a bit of an omission. Another omission is that these seats, while in the standard form they offer great thigh support, it's not as good as some of the other really premium sedans and cars that I've sat in and which have extendable thigh support. Why not for a car which is 1.5 crore rupees worth of money? I really cannot wrap my head around it. But I'm nitpicking right now. The things that I found are missing, and lumbar support is something which is very essential, and I think it should have been there. Now coming to the premium bits, the steering wheel here is electrically adjustable for rake and reach, which is absolutely fantastic. And just have a look at this interior. It's absolutely stunning. This massive curved central screen as well as the instrument console makes you feel really special, and the quality of materials everywhere is absolutely stunning. All of this dashboard is soft to touch. At the lower end you have the headliner material, which you also have here, and it's very soft to touch. The quality is top notch, except for a few places. Again, I'm nitpicking. Right underneath the crystals, you cannot have these plastic buttons. I really would have wanted these buttons to also be at least metallic, and if they were also crystal, I'm just wondering how much motoring journalists like me would have raved about it. In any case, there is plenty of high quality materials here, and let's start with the steering wheel, which is draped in leather. And the leather here itself is about the theme of sustainability, where it's been dyed with some extract from olives, and I really am not sure how that's going to help the environment too much, but my understanding is that they're not using chemicals to dye the leather, they're using natural materials, and that is not going to discharge any toxicity into the rivers where this car is being manufactured. Now, another great thing about the interior is that there's so much space here, because this entire area has been freed up. So there's a lot more space for your knee movement, not just for the driver, but for the passenger as well. And then you come across this really nice piece here. This little part of the center console is made of walnut wood, and it's embossed with all the iconography. You have the navigation, telephone, media, home, back, and this rotary iDrive control in crystal, the drive selector in crystal, the volume control in crystal, and all the other icons are embossed on the walnut as well, and it really feels very, very, very special. You have auto hold here, start stop button here, and this armrest with a reasonable amount of space where you can put a cell phone, another cell phone, another cell phone, maybe a couple of wallets, and it really is cavernous. Then you have these two adjustable cup holders. Let me just demonstrate them to you, and you don't have to bother about anything. You just have to put your cup or bottle inside it, and they'll adjust it to the width of the cup. You have a 12-volt power socket, two Type-C USB chargers, and a wireless phone charger as well right here. And you have quite a few controls here. So you can change the screen for the content. That's what you want to see on the screen itself. So as you can see right now, you can change it like this. You can look for the range, or you can look for the maps, or for the G-forces, or the audio, and all of this is the content. Not just the content, the layout itself can also be changed, and there are 3 layouts to be chosen from, and you can choose from these 3 options that you have. Then you have the head-up display, which is one of the best that I've seen, and you can also have the head-up display changed according to your choice, and you have 4 layouts to choose from. Not just that, you also have various different modes, and you can go to my modes, and then you have personal, sport, efficient, expressive, relax, and digital art modes to choose from, which change the color of the screens and the ambient lighting as well. So all of this helps you customize how you want your car to look and feel, and the ambient lighting on this car also looks absolutely fantastic. Now, just like the driver's side, the passenger side also has adjustment for the seat, so you can set it up for 2 different settings and make the system memorize it. The glove box is not too big, but it's made with high quality materials. Now, one of the highlights of this cabin is its massive, massive sunroof, and it's not just the size of the sunroof, but also the technology that it incorporates, which is absolutely fascinating. And with just the press of a button, you can make it transparent or opaque. So right now, as you can see the sky, you can see the clouds in the sky, and as I press it, you won't be able to, because now it's opaque. So it doesn't have any blinds, but you can make sure that no lights comes inside the cabin. Although the limitation to this is that if you want ventilation through the sunroof, that option is not available. Now let's also quickly have a look at all the different features that we have on this beautiful screen. And one of the great features of this car, as I mentioned, is the audio quality. And while if I play any of my favorite songs, it will be marked as a copyright infringement. What we can do is is we can play the audio demo on this car, and hopefully that would give you a fair idea of what the sound feels like. So we have to press the button, namely experience the sound, and let's experience the sound. It's a surround system where all the speakers come to life all by themselves, and it really makes the sound in this car absolutely mind-blowingly amazing. Alright, so you have all of these icons here, and most of them are self-explanatory. You have Android Auto, you have Apple CarPlay, then you have Automate Habits, which allows the car to understand your preferences. You have BMW Assistance, which essentially is a call center. Charging, then you have Climate Control, which allows you to control the climate inside the car. It gets a 2-zone front and a 2-zone rear climate control. The seats here, they also come with ventilation, massage, as well as heating options, and for that you simply have to go to the seat. You press this button on the door for the seats, and the seat icon comes up, and you go to the driver's seat or the front passenger seat to choose the seat that you want to control, and you can control the seat climate, or you can choose a massage function, and you have as many as 4 different massage functions, and you can choose the speed and intensity of the massage as well. You have various different display options, including the head-up display, the doors and windows. Now also let's have a look at the beautiful camera of this car, and the camera on this car, as I mentioned, is one of the best. And now one great thing about this camera, apart from its high resolution and the fact that it's very intelligent and packed with sensors, is that if you're in parking view and if you are, say, reversing, and if you have some obstruction, like we have some leaves here hanging off of a tree, it automatically, very dynamically changes the view angle so that you are more aware of your surroundings, and you can understand and assess the situation a lot better. For example, if I'm going forward now, it changes the view, and it does it all of that very dynamically, so that you have the best understanding of the environment around you. And apart from the parking view, you have the assist view, which is the rear view camera, panoramic view, which is a wider view, and then you also have the 3D view, where you can just move the camera to any angle you like, and you have the car wash view, and you also have camera cleaning of the front and rear cameras as well. So you can clean the cameras so that everything is very visible, and especially in conditions like this, like, you know, it's raining right now and the camera gets very mucky very quickly, you can clean the camera and be aware of your surroundings. You also have a drive recorder. You can change the exterior lighting, interior lighting, and the navigation on this car is absolutely fantastic. You also have the Hey BMW function. Hey BMW, navigate me to Srishti Heights.
What is the number of the entry that I should pick?
It makes life very easy.
I've started the route guidance.
Hey BMW,
What can I help you with?
cancel the navigation.
Okay, I've ended the route guidance.
Apart from this, there are a lot of things that this car can really help you with, and you really don't have to go through the menus. For example, hey BMW,
Hello.
reduce the brake energy recuperation.
You can allow deceleration behavior and therefore also the energy recovery to be regulated automatically by your vehicle. If it is set to adaptive, your BMW will adjust the energy recovery behavior depending on the traffic situation. You can activate adaptive recuperation in this menu. I would recommend using the adaptive setting to maximize the electric range.
So this way it can really help you with a lot of settings without you having to go inside the menus. For example, hey BMW, change ambient lighting to red.
The light color can only be set in personal mode.
It's quite intelligent and it really is very useful. Now finally, this car also comes with adaptive ride height, and you can increase or decrease the ride height of this car by just pressing this one button. And as you can see, the vehicle is being adjusted to a high level, so if you're going over bad surfaces, you can use adaptive ride height as well. Then you can choose the driver assistance, drivetrain and chassis and charging options just by the press of this little button here. All in all, it's one of the nicest experience to be sitting here in this cabin, especially up front, and all the materials here are very high quality. I have told you about the things that I did not like, and I really believe that some of the buttons here could probably have been a little bit more premium, and this could have done with that mechanical motorized side bolstering as well as lumbar support, because all of those things are really desirable in a car which is 1.5 crore rupees worth of money. Time now to see how comfortable a place is the back seat to sit in, and I'm pretty sure it is, but let's check it out together. Open the big door and you will be welcomed by the frameless windows, which look stylish. The quality of materials on the panel of the rear door also is top notch. You have ambient lighting on the windows as well, up front and at the rear. There is sufficient space here for a 1 liter water bottle, and of course you have no door pulls. The button that I showed you up front is present at the rear, and so is this fail-safe door pull as well. The seat height is slightly higher than ideal. You really have to climb inside the cabin. The doors don't have the reassuring thud of the BMWs that I talked about earlier as well. Now, while there is ample and more knee room, leg room and headroom, I have a few complaints as well. First, the thigh support is just about adequate. I'm not saying it's uncomfortable, but there are two things that I want to bring to your notice. A, since there's a battery pack underneath, the bench height is not very high, and it probably could have been a wee bit higher for the seat to have been a little bit more comfortable, because if I'm sitting like this, my knees are slightly pointing upwards and it could have been a little bit more comfortable. A. B, the headrests for the two passengers on the side are not adjustable. They could have been adjustable and it would have made the journey a lot more comfortable. I'm not complaining, I am nitpicking, because these are two things that I observed about the back seat. Now about the good part, the padding is absolutely amazing, and this seat is wide. It's like a bench and there's no hump in the middle, so you actually can seat 3 people very comfortably. There is no transmission tunnel here, so there's no hump, and you can actually seat 3 here for comfortable seating for short to medium journeys as well. And this armrest, if you're 2 of you traveling, is wide enough. You have these 2 adjustable cup holders. Not just that, you can also bring the 20 part of the 40-20-20 split rear seats down to access whatever you have in your boot. You have ISOFIX child seat mounts, 3-point seat belts for all 3 passengers at the rear. You have this coat hook here, another coat hook here, and 2 USB-C charging sockets on the back of the front seats, and you have this little socket here for the installation of an infotainment kit. You have your own climate zones at the rear, and not just can you change the temperature, you can also change the flow, and the vents are in the center as well as on the B pillar as well. These are the magazine holders. And another great thing about the rear is these adjustable reading lights. Now, while they do look cool, but I would like to think that some of the premium cars in Audi have matrix lighting here, which is a lot more advanced, and I would have really liked to see something of that sort on a BMW as well. Another little omission, I don't see any blinds here, and I would have really wanted to have a pair of blinds on the back seat of such a premium car. Now, the one thing that I really want to mention here is that the audio quality is absolutely stunning. It's one of the most beautifully insulated cars that I've ever sat in. The suspension is absolutely in a class of its own. So for long journeys, this is a fantastic place to be. However, I've talked about the few small things that I did not like much. Now let's take this baby out for a spin and see how well it drives. Now with brand BMW, you generally associate speed, fun to drive factor and all of those things. But this one is a little different. Yes, it's plenty fast. It can do 0 to 100 in 4.6 seconds flat, and in the real world actually it's faster than that. And the acceleration is quite manic. But what's really amazing about this car is the quietness inside and the insulation that you have. It's really amazing. It's one of the most comfortable electric cars that I have driven. Comes with air suspension and it gobbles up bad roads beautifully well. The steering feels really sorted and you really feel like you're gliding over bad roads. So if you're looking for something which is really comfortable, very, very quiet, it really comes across as one of the most accomplished cars I have driven ever. Cuts out all the noise so beautifully. You can drive it for days on end and you won't feel tired. Very, very comfortable. So that's a quality that's unlike a lot of other BMWs where the focus is primarily on comfort and on quietness, and that really makes this car very, very special for me. As I mentioned, the power here is fantastic. You get 516 HP of peak power, 765 Newton meters of peak torque, and the acceleration, as I mentioned, is absolutely manic. And not just that, the sound that you'll hear now, this is not a natural sound. This is coming from the speakers. This sound was designed by none other than Hans Zimmer, the man who has given the background score for some of the most iconic movies of our times. And I quite like it. A few other people have not, but I quite like the way this car sounds. Now, in terms of range, the WLTP range of this car is 600 kilometers or thereabouts. But in the real world, you'll be able to go 450 kilometers or thereabouts without any problem. A few other things that I really love about this car is the HUD on this car is one of the best I have seen anywhere. You also have a few modes that you can choose from, and it really offers a lot of data and in a manner which is very, very legible, very visible. The steering here, while you might want to think that it's not very usable because it's hexagonal, but it doesn't feel unnatural, feels quite light and natural. And another great thing is that you can choose from drive or brake modes right from here, although you can change a lot of other modes also for regenerative braking. But right off the bat, you can choose the B mode, which increases the brake energy recuperation drastically. And as you'll see, as I lift my foot off the pedal, the car comes to a halt much quicker as compared to when it's in the D mode. Now, apart from that, there are plenty of other modes also to choose from, and you just have to click this My Modes, and then you can choose Personal, where you can personalize how you want it. Sport mode, where obviously the drive feel becomes a lot sharper, the acceleration is a lot better. And not just that, you also have Efficient mode if you want to increase the range. Then you have the Expressive mode and the Relax mode, where you have seat massage function activated. So you have a lot of modes to choose from. And while this may not be a sharp tool which you'd want to go around a track or go in the most enthralling fashion around a bunch of twisties, but what I can tell you is that this car is a lot of fun to drive. Not just is it comfortable, but it is also the most balanced electric performance cars that I've driven, and the suspension and the steering setup on this car is absolutely phenomenal. I quite like the way it drives on the highway or around a band of twisties. It's a very accomplished electric car, and if you're going for a premium electric SUV, what I can tell you is that at this point in time, there are not many other cars which can hold a candle to the BMW iX50. It's absolutely phenomenal. The charging times of the BMW iX50 can be seen on the screen right now. Now, the top speed of this car is electronically limited to 200 kilometers per hour, and I don't personally believe that you'll ever need to go faster than that on public roads. You should not. But before I go to the conclusion, let's have a quick 0 to 100 sprint of this car as well. So I've put the car in the sport mode, and we are going to just demonstrate to you as to how quick this car really is. All right, we are all set and let's go. And we are through. That was pretty intense, and you can tell by looking at the smile on my face that this car can be exciting when it wants to. Well, you might not agree with the way this car looks, but trust me, you spend a day with this car and you'd fall in love with it. It has something special about it, and much as I would like to compare it with the Mercedes EQE, this car in my books comes out on top of the EQE. It's a little bit more practical, it's a little bit more desirable for me. The interior appeals to me more, and the comfort, the insulation and the overall experience is a slight bit better. I really love this car. In my books, this is one of the best electric cars on sale in India. And at 1.46 crore rupees on the road, this is rather expensive, but so is the EQE, which is also available for the same price. And it's a toss-up between the two cars. The EQE SUV is a little bit more evocative, it's a little bit more flamboyant, it's more organic, it looks slightly better, but this car overall, technologically, according to me, is a little bit better. You also have the Q8 e-tron, which is also a very accomplished car, and it's very spacious, it's very practical, has a fantastic range, and it's also available for about 12 lakh rupees less on the road. Very, very good product that also, but doesn't appeal to you as much as the other two cars do. I really hope that I was able to sum this car up in detail for you. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe to Motoroids for such really in-depth, long format content. And until next time, this is your friend Amit Changani signing off. Rev hard, rev free, and drive safe.